I know a lot of you are wondering why you were brought in here. Obviously, there's kind of an air of mystery about this, so I'm going to explain. My name is Rabbi Philip Schneider. We're here tonight because Larry, in honor of his 60th birthday, wanted to renew his marital vows with Arlene. And I'm very honored they chose me for this. As I said, my name is Rabbi Philip Schneider, but I'm not only a rabbi, I'm also a medical doctor. So I do a hell of a bris. And I also get to charge double. This ceremony tonight doesn't really count in the eyes of the law. They're already married, obviously, so we're going to have a little fun with this ceremony, because no matter what I do tonight, it really doesn't make a darn bit of difference. Because even though I am being paid a small stipend tonight, this is not about the money. This is about having the satisfaction of knowing I am doing God's work by rejoining two people together who will spread joy and happiness into the world, even though, as I have learned in Larry's case, sometimes joy and happiness comes blended in with sarcasm and misery. So to begin with, I asked them, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to renew your vows? And after all my questions, there were three answers. First, to celebrate Larry's birthday. Second, because they had already paid for the hall. And lastly, to make up for all the people in their bridal party who either got divorced or never got married. So let us start with Larry, who was born November 14th, 60 years ago at Lebanon Hospital in the Bronx, and after a few years there, his family moved to the projects. But they were kicked out when his dad began making too much money. And I gotta tell you, it's not easy to get kicked out of the projects. You have to be like solid middle lower class. But Larry liked it in the project so much, he vowed when he grew up he'd be unsuccessful enough to be able to move back in. Sadly, he has never achieved that dream. It is not surprising that he was an underachiever scholastically. In high school, he spent most of his time smoking cigarettes and beating up the intellectuals, until he graduated and went to college at Alfred. And when I say Alfred, I do not mean Alfred University, rather Alfred Tech, where he got the exact same degree he could have purchased from one of those ads on late night TV. But then the story turns. During one of his sabbaticals, Larry helped inner city kids learn to use computers. And he did such a good job teaching these kids, they then took that technology to optimize their business skills and increase their drug sales over 700%. There is redemption to this story because Larry is now again assisting the less fortunate, having worked at one point for the Lighthouse, helping others with vision problems, or in other words, this is the most clear-cut case of the blind leading the blind. And so far, he's only lost 5 kids falling off the top of that lighthouse. So he's got about a 75% rate of survival. But with all this, despite all this, this is a relationship that almost never happened. They met because Arlene's friend Hillary hated Arlene's current boyfriend Phil, so she set her up with Larry, who had recently been dumped by his then girlfriend Margie. If any of you are following it, explain it to me. So Hillary told Arlene to be nice to Larry because he was depressed about Margie, so they went on a blind date, which, considering Larry's current condition, was perfect preparation for what Arlene has to deal with today. October 14th, 1973, the Mets are in the playoffs. Arlene's an avid Mets fan. She brings a transistor radio to the fancy restaurant that Larry takes her out to. Now understand something, I like to go out to eat, and I like fancy restaurants. I was at the 21 Club recently, and that restaurant is so fancy they have a policy, if you don't have a jacket on, they will loan you one. So now, I'm doing all my shopping at fancy restaurants. I got friends coming up, nice coat, where'd you get it? Red Lobster. So I got a free coat. The next night I go to a Japanese restaurant. They don't give you clothes, they take your shoes away. I had to go to a bowling alley to get them back. She's not impressed. He asks to continue the date. She says no. So he drops her off, and as she heads for the house, he suddenly impulsively runs out of his car, goes up to her and yanks her back for a kiss that was so passionate, her head started spinning like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. So the bottom line is, when you get down to it, this is a business relationship first and a romance second. or as Larry likes to call it, friends with health benefits. Now, they do have 2 children. Alyssa, a kindergarten teacher who works in Astoria, and I actually lived in Astoria at one point. Not a bad neighborhood, just kind of a weird location. It's like 5 minutes from Rikers Island, Shea Stadium, and LaGuardia. I always figured somebody would escape from jail, go to a ball game, kill me, and hop on a plane. And then we have Jed, a financial advisor whose goal is to become wealthy enough to be targeted by Occupy Wall Street. And he didn't... I just find it very difficult to think of somebody named Jed who's rich, or if he is, who didn't stumble upon oil in their backyard while hunting for pheasant. It turns out Alyssa actually dressed up for Jed's bar mitzvah as Ellie Mae. I think this is the first time in my life I've used the words Jed, Ellie Mae, and bar mitzvah in the same sentence. Now, in addition to losing his vision and having heart problems, Larry is also losing his hearing. And truthfully, I don't even know if he can hear me right now. Between all his handicaps, it's like talking to Helen Keller. And I know that's a sick joke, but let's be honest, she's dead and he can't see or hear me, so who am I offending? I wanted to stop and say I realize I've said a number of strong things about Larry, and with that in mind, I want to say to Arlene, thank you for all the information. Arlene is also the dear Abby for many of their friends, particularly during breakups. If it wasn't for her, many of the couples that have broken up might in fact still be together. Because Arlene sometimes says, you know, maybe it's better if you get rid of them. Now at this point, I would like to now go on and do our ceremony. Now the first thing we do is I drink the wine. I'm a little nervous. This is the first renewal I've ever done, so then I drink some more wine. Now at this point, I have to ask if there are any objections to this wedding after everything I have said. Is there anybody here that sees any reason why this man shouldn't be alone and finally leave this woman in holy peace? Well, then I object. So let us do the prayer for the marriage. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri... That's the wine and the bread. Yiskadal v'yiskadash shemei rokeach. Listen, by the way, I'll be at the Comac Motor Inn in an hour and a half. I'll be in the Lindsay Lohan room. All right, at this point, Arlene, would you please turn towards me? Arlene, do you take this man until death do us part, even though he dresses up like a woman and sometimes can be annoying as hell, so help me God?
I do.
Larry, do you take this woman who made your life wonderful and takes care of you when you are sick and does everything in her power to make you happy and is paying my check tonight, so help me God? Please place the glass on the ground. Okay, Larry, if you can see the glass, you may now break the glass. That was pathetic. Try it again. Go ahead. Break the glass. This is what you bought? You may now kiss your bride. And if you took your pills, you may now go find a room and try to consummate the wedding. The bridal party may now go back to their seats. I hope you guys realize I'm not actually a rabbi. I do circumcisions, though. I'm a stand-up comic from Oyster Bay. My name is not Philip Schneider, it's Harry Freedman, Harry Dilbert Freedman. Although that's my stage name, my real name is Biff Wilson. I am a doctor, so a lot of people call me by my surgical nickname, which is Shaky. And there are other people that call me by my Hebrew name, Fagel. No. And the reason I'm really here tonight is to talk to you all about Amway products. I met them, they found me through the caterer here, and we sat down and we did all this, we put all this together. And it was a lot of fun meeting them, and congratulations on renewing. And I think we're done. Thank you very much.